Hi again. So thanks for clicking on this video. Why don't you just go ahead and give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. Leave a comment down below if there's a certain topic or your concerns with ADHD. I just want to put it out there. Obviously, I am not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I am an ADHD advocate. And I am also a mentor. I'm a qualified mentor. So I've been working with children for over 20 years as a teacher's aide. I've worked with disadvantaged children. I specialise in children on the spectrum and ADHD children. And yeah, so in the last video, I was up to medication. And ADHD medication has such a bad rap. It really, really does. And it just makes me a little bit upset that it is seen in such a negative way. I mean, I can understand, and I remember feeling, oh my gosh, I don't want to give my child speed. It's not speed, first and foremost. And like I said in the previous video, Professor Russell Barkley has been working with ADHD families for over 40 years. So the children that he was first working with are now adults, and they have had their own children. And there are no scientific studies. I've actually read the reports. There are no scientific studies to show or to prove that children or adults that take ADHD stimulant and non-stimulant medication end up addicted to them or cocaine or speed or any hard drugs or any drugs in particular. There is no scientific studies that prove that they will become addicted. It's not out there. So because what's happened is people have made money from saying, professionals, let's get that straight, and doctors have made money from saying that they will become addicted. It's just not the case. I think it's more children that are not medicated that struggle with impulsivity. There are plenty of studies that have shown that our jails across the world are full with ADHD kids that are now adults because of impulsivity. It's not because of ADHD, it's because of impulsivity, and they're not even diagnosed, and some of them actually are once they're in jail. So it's all about learning. Like as a parent, I've learnt so much. And looks like I have half an eyebrow. Don't pluck your eyebrows, kids. Don't pluck them. And there's a piece of fluff on the pillow. It's annoying me. Okay, gone. So our medication journey started at 7. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I am not good at maths. So 5 years. And the first day, like I was so paranoid, I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing to my child? What am I doing? But I thought, do you know what? Let's just see. Let's just see. Let's just give it 3 months. Let's just see. So I decided that I would take my kids out of school for the day and let's go, because I think we started on a Monday, and let's go to out for the day, to a theme park we went to. We had passes. So that's what we did. And she was like this. And I thought, oh my God, it is true. It is like speed. Oh my God, what am I doing? And she wouldn't eat. I think I had made her have a toasted sandwich because I'd seen lots of mums. Oh, the first thing I did was join as many Facebook ADHD groups as I could. And over the years, I have wheedled some out because I joined them all. And some of the American ones are a bit, I just wanted Australian. I just want where I live. It's what I wanted. So I actually found one which is fabulous, and it's near me. And I asked as many questions as I could, and I still do. And so I remember parents saying, "Oh, get your kids sustagen. You know, it's like a milk. Put it with milk. I think it's like a drink, and it puts fat on them because she ended up losing so much weight from the tablets. And she wasn't a big girl to begin with. I could see ribs front and back, and I thought, oh my gosh. So we bought sustagen. Anyway, so the first day we were out and about, she was doing a big smiley thing. And I kept saying, are you okay? Are you okay? And I thought, oh my God, be quiet. You're putting your anxiety on her. Let's have fun. Let's not even talk about it. So we decided to do that. Didn't talk about it. Behaviour was fabulous. I mean, we were out for the day anyway, so of course it would be. Because it's only at home. Oh, and sometimes when we've been out and about, behaviours has been a little bit, as a kid, give me a thumbs up or leave it in the comments below what your child would do when you went out shopping. And I'm on, as I said, a lot of Facebook pages, and they can't take their child shopping. They cannot take their child shopping. My child, from the age that she could walk, and I would not have her in the pram, and you know, when they get to like 2, 3 and you're like, oh God, they want independence, she would slide under the aisles of food. She would slide under them. And if she found something that was under there, well, it was hers because it was lost. So it was hers. And she would open it. Oh my gosh, and I felt very judged, very judged. So I did it while they were at school, obviously. So we were out and about. The first day she took her medication, we were at a theme park, as I've said, and doing lots of these ones. Wouldn't hardly eat, but I sort of made her take a couple of bites of a roll. And then she had to have another tablet at 12 o'clock. And so I gave it to her at about, because she would be awake at the crack of dawn at like 5, even sometimes earlier, every morning until the age of 12. And anyway, so that afternoon we sort of got home at late. So it was sort of like bath, bed, or dinner, bath and bed. Pardon me, zonked out straight away. I was like, yes. And that was Ritalin. They usually always start Australian children on Ritalin short acting. They usually start you off on half a tablet or one tablet, and then again, like first thing in the morning, then again at 12, which means they have to go to the office at school and take their tablet, so then they're ostracised even more. Why do you have to go to the office? Oh, yeah, oh, that's right, you're spazzy, or whatever ridiculous words they want to call your child. Then some people give their child a 3 o'clock tablet as well to help them sort of through the next day, only lasts 4 hours. We never did that. We were never even given an option to do that. And so straight away the school noticed a difference. Her teacher noticed a difference. I could see she went from writing, she would write this much, whereas kids had to write a page. So she'd be lucky to do, say, 3 or 4 sentences. There was no space in between. It was all too much turning around. What's going on over there? Oh, someone's tapped. Oh, okay, I'm over there now. Oh, now I'm here. Oh, I've forgotten what the teacher said. They're all over the place. But with the medication, it forces your brain to concentrate, and she could concentrate. And I remember at 7 years of age, 7 or 8, my daughter came to me and said, Mum, oh, it was before medication, so 6 or 7. I'd say, why can't you just listen or whatever, pay attention or whatever. And I remember her saying to me, Mum, there is so much going on in my brain, I can't concentrate. And that is a child of about 6 or 7. There is so much going on in my brain, Mum, I can't concentrate. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that was exactly how I was as well. I was all over the place. So for us, medication has actually been a godsend. But if your family is used to being up there, medication is for your child at school. So what happens when your child comes home from school, medication wears off by 3:30, and everybody is up there. You're still up there. So it's not a cure by any means. It's for our kids or adults to concentrate. That's what it's for. Is the impulsivity in that still there? Yes. But they can sit still. The legs aren't swinging. The tapping's not there all the time. And we were very lucky. I don't like the word lucky. It reminds me of, what is it? Buying those scratchies. It's not lucky. We were fortunate that the Ritalin worked. There are lots of families I know that Ritalin doesn't work. Ritalin makes anxiety huge. So if your child has anxiety, which most kids with ADHD, sorry, I didn't say our diagnosis. So my child's diagnosis was ADHD combined, which means inattentive and hyperactive. So she's out the window, but she's also, oh, what can I do? What can I do? ADHD combined along with ODD, no shocker there, that's oppositional defiance disorder. Most kids with ADHD have ODD as well. And all the professionals can say, oh, it's family life, it's this, it's that. They still don't know why there's ODD. And to me, it's just part of ADHD and severe debilitating anxiety. So that was our diagnosis, ADHD combined, ODD and severe anxiety. And it was so good to have a name for how my child behaved. I don't see it as a label. I don't know why people get so upset with labels. Like it's not, I don't see it. Oh, what have I done? I don't see it as a label. It gives you answers. You can then research. You can find out more about your child and how to help your child, how to advocate for your child. They're not, as I said, who wants to be in trouble 24 hours a day? Nobody. So medication for us was brilliant. And then through medication, we watched Russell Barkley, his ADHD conference, not conference, is it? Yes. That goes for 3 hours, but you can break it up into sections, which is what I did, and watched an hour each night over 3 nights when the kids were in bed, because your child doesn't need to. I think our kids need to know that they have a diagnosis. And my child, a lot of kids with ADHD like to obsess over things, and it's called, what is it called? Hyperfocus. So at the moment we are, in our household, we are hyper-focusing on Adam Liddell, who has ADHD plus Tourette's, and last year came second on The Voice. So our household is Adam Liddell and Star Wars. That's what we're into. But when she was younger, it was all about ADHD, and she would research herself and would write. If she wanted to write anything, it would be my ADHD story. Do you know how many booklets, homemade booklets she's made, my ADHD story, and open it up? It has a little blurb and then that's it. There's nothing else written. Plenty. And I've kept a couple and I chucked the rest. So where am I up to? Oh, this is tricky. So ADHD, the medication, as I said, we're very lucky that Ritalin worked for us. And then I found out through Facebook pages that there was a thing called Concerta or Ritalin LA, and that's long lasting. I didn't want my child up at the office every lunchtime to take a tablet. As I said, she was already being badly bullied and really had no friends. Or if they did, they would let her play with them sometimes, and then other times they were horrific. And so 3 months in, I went back to the paediatrician and I basically said, I want my child to take the slow release. I do not want her taking the fast-acting Ritalin anymore. And we usually like to leave it a little bit longer. And I basically said, I don't care what you like to do. As her mother, I want her on the slow release Ritalin. The afternoons were a killer. Oh my gosh, they were a killer. It was like before medication. there was holes in walls, there was broken windows, there was swearing and biting herself, and which I now know is self-harm in a child, which is not good. Lots of kids talk about killing themselves and, horrid behaviour, like the parent has no control whatsoever, and it's like the child rules the roost, and that is all part of ODD as well. And even when she was tiny, she would draw, when they start to draw, well, she was the big person and we were all the little people. So that's basically still how it is. She's the big person and we're all the little people. But I strongly suggest this is what's worked for us. So 3 months after, I was like, no, we need to get on slow release, because I had heard that it lasts 12 hours right the way up to, say, 7 o'clock. And then I thought, great, because that was sort of her bedtime at, say, 7, because she was still exhausted, although it did start taking a little bit longer to get to sleep. And I didn't say before, so we had the worry dolls under the pillow, and I would do a relaxation thing, and I still do it to this day, maybe not every night, but I sort of would pat her on the back or go like this as they're ready for sleep and would say, and now your head's relaxing in your brain and your neck and your shoulders and your arms and your elbows and your wrists and your hands and your fingers, and your back's relaxing in your spine, and your hips and your belly. Oh no, I've said it wrong. And your hips and your knees and your thighs. No, I've said it wrong. Thighs, knees, calves, feet, heels, and wiggle your toes, something like that. And some nights, I've shared this at my support group, some nights I was that cranky that I would pat her on the back a little bit hard. So there was no softness. I was like, hurry up, and your legs relaxing, and your hips. Or I would say it so fast, slow down, Mummy. And then I'd think, breathe. She's in bed. It's about to be quiet. Just get through this. Anyway, I'm sure you can all relate. Thumbs up for relating. And yes, so that's what we did. And obviously over the years there's been 2 increases in the concerta. And then nobody really tells you about the fun and games that comes along with, and I'm sure I've missed a whole lot. So with food-wise, Sustagen, try and get them. We tried to get the medical one, and it's a little bit more expensive. Sometimes we'd just get the ones from Woolies or Coles. I think it's about $7. We did lots of toasted sandwiches in the morning for breakfast, ham, cheese, tomato, because she was starving. So and wouldn't really eat during the day. So I would sort of pack a few little things in there that I thought, well, if she eats, she eats. If not, it doesn't really matter. But then once the tablet started wearing off, when she was on the Ritalin one, she'd come home starving, and I would really just sort of, what do you want? But now looking back, I should have done smoothies and, milky sort of frozen fruit is awesome. Frozen fruit is now our lollies. And I don't care, my kids would come home, such and such has tiny teddies, such and such has this. I really wish now I'd just stopped, because now I know that both my children, my ADHD child really struggles big time with sugar and numbers, and anything in a packet that has sugars and numbers, her behaviour is just ridiculous, even on medication. It just really reacts with her brain and her body. So I should have listened to my friend in TAFE, Kim. Should have listened to you years ago about gut health and brain. Obviously there is a link. I just take a little bit longer to sort of catch up to everybody. But obviously it's more expensive, and, you just have to do what you have to do. And if the kid wants a meat pie after school, whatever, do it. But I'd end up making little quiches, and what else would she have? Pancakes. Pancakes were good. But it's all, you try and get like proteins, and because our kids crave carbs. Our kids crave carbs and junk because the carbs turn to sugar. They get a bit of a dopamine hit from it because that's all they're after, is that dopamine hit. So, but just take it. I used to just take it one day at a time. When she was in bed and be carrying on. And I just remember thinking, okay, we are almost through another day. We are almost through another day. So thumbs up if you've said that to yourself. We are almost through another day. And nobody knows what it's like unless they live it. Unless you live ADHD, you really don't know what you're talking about. You could have studied for you could have done your master's. Unless you live ADHD, you really have no business telling someone about it. Or I just don't get with you. I do not want advice from someone that has not lived ADHD, because I just don't want it. So thumbs up if you're sick and tired of hearing about ADHD when they don't have ADHD in their family. It's very debilitating hearing that. It's very, as the parent, it's not good to listen to, especially at school pickup. Thumbs up for keeping to yourself at school pickup, and being very busy on your phone. Thank goodness for phones. What else? And thumbs up if you now can recognise ADHD in other children, but their parents, for whatever reason, refuse to acknowledge that there's ADHD. But let me tell you this, usually as a teenager, when the kids are more mature and have found their voice, and as the parent you really mean nothing anymore, let me tell you, they are very, very, a lot of children are diagnosed as teenagers that weren't diagnosed as kids. You can't hide it anymore. When your child gets to be a teenager and they're in high school, you cannot hide ADHD anymore. You cannot hide it. It's as clear as day. And you will see that your child is struggling big time, big time. So I don't think that there's any harm I just saw ADHD as yes, an answer. That's what I saw it as, yes, an answer. My phone, I didn't even know I had it in here. There you go. So I always say to people now, stick with the medication for 3 months. Give it 3 months. Research as much as possible. Work on yourself. Work on calming yourself down. It's very hard to go from high energy family to that, and maybe that's how you were brought up as well. High energy, nice way of saying chaos, or not being in control of your emotions. If that's how your family acts, not in control of their emotions, then that's actually very hard. When you become a parent, it's actually quite a hard habit to break because it's ingrained in you. That's all you have ever known. So I firmly believe in working on yourself. So whether that's speaking with a psychologist or a counsellor, or walking on the beach every day, or walking the dogs every day, or watching what you eat, or trying not to smoke and drink yourself to death. No, but just taking care of yourself and stop with the high energy stuff. As I said, it's so hard to come down from up there. It's so hard. And I remember I used to watch Dr. Phil, and look, I still do if I'm at home, and it's 12 o'clock and I think, oh, good, a new one. But I remember him saying someone has to be the hero in your relationship, or nothing will change if nothing changes. And it is so true. I decided that I was no longer going to live like that. So I decided that I would work on myself, and I have. And I have been working on myself, speaking with a professional, for about 4 years on and off, maybe a little bit less. And through that, and it started off once a fortnight because I had a lot to say and a lot to deal with, actually. So that then leads me into, and I'm sure, look, if you have any questions, just leave it down in the comments below, and I'll try to ask as many questions and I will only reply to positive questions. Any negatives, depending on what the negative question or comment is, you might be deleted. So this is really for families that want answers on ADHD in Australia. And as I said, I've had ADHD in my life with my child for over 5 years. But I was diagnosed with ADHD 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I can't quite remember. And I'm actually going to do that, speak about my diagnosis in the next video. But I really feel like I've left a lot out. So if you leave it in the comments below, as I said, what you would like me to discuss in concerns with ADHD, then I'm more than happy to pass on what information I have. And yeah, so give this video a thumbs up and like and subscribe and share. If you have friends that are going through diagnoses or, are struggling or already diagnosed with ADHD, just share this video, because I really think that there isn't any. There's no ADHD Australian families that are willing to share their knowledge. And I'm not even concerned about, growing the channel and stuff like that. I'm actually, I don't know, I don't think my partner's too sort of happy, but oh well. I'm over 40. I can do what I like. So I really wish I had started this before the diagnosis. I think it would be so fabulous to look back when I'm old and grey, there's a few there, at how my family coped and what strategies we used and how the kids were at a certain age. I think it will be awesome. Oh, and I don't want to get upset, but I just think it would be so awesome. I wish that I had, on video, like my family's struggles, because I can now see and I can recognise ADHD symptoms in grandparents, and stories that I was told would even go back further. And ADHD is genetics. It does run in families. My family is a prime example of that. So, so I'm actually really excited to just share my journey. So in the next video, I will talk about my journey being diagnosed with ADHD, and how many parents are actually being diagnosed with ADHD because they've recognised themselves in their child. It's huge. It's a huge number. So give this video a thumbs up, like and subscribe and share. Let's get it out there. Even to other Facebook, even to other Facebook ADHD sites. I think this could actually be shared, so and be used. I've actually done a few Facebook lives, and I've cried through every single one, and because it is so emotional, and very heavy and hard, and just day to day you see no end. But let me tell you, I am free today, because my child was at a party. So, and yes, I just want to share what I've got, that it actually does get easier, because you're no longer wiping bums or wiping poo off walls, or maybe you are. It does get easier, but it also gets harder, because this is what I forgot to say, and it's getting long, is that when your child reaches adolescence, and body's changing and everything like that, the medication, most families, doesn't work anymore. So we are now at the stage of starting all over again. And so then it goes from child pediatrician to psychiatrist, and costs money, costs $550. So, and that's for the first visit, and then it's 200 and something after that, unless we're going private this time, because I do believe that there are other diagnoses out there that wasn't diagnosed to begin with, and I could be wrong. So, so I'm battling with all those emotions as well, because ADHD, there's always others. Some get Tourette's, some get bipolar, some have severe anxiety. A lot of teenagers are then diagnosed ASD, which is Asperger's, or on the autism spectrum. So we are now, it feels like, starting again, in some ways. And the sneakily not taking the tablet. Got to show what's on the tongue. Got to show that that tablet is being swallowed. Yes. So anyway, as I said, give this video a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and share. And in the next video, I will talk about my own diagnosis and how that has affected our family. So yeah, thanks. Bye.